All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Another, episode number 250 something.
250 something?
250 something. 256.
Okay, I was going to say 250 something is not a number that I'm familiar with in our current alphabet.
Yeah, it wouldn't be in the alphabet. It would be in our numerical system.
That word.
Anyways, we are back. Today we are going to be talking about my book, The Magic Mentor, and we're also going to be taking a look at the Quantum Pad, just released by TCC. And so we will be right back after...
Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
The art of magic is mystery, majesty, pageantry, and craft. It's also about history, marketing, networking, and more. All of these topics and others are discussed on Magic Talk with your hosts, renowned magician James Lantine and owner of the White Rabbit Magic Shop, Joshua Lantine. Now on Rough Edge FM.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I am double dutying today. Are we interrupting your...
Yes, I'm researching.
What are you researching?
The Quantum Pad.
Oh.
Because there was nothing pulled up.
Ask me anything about it.
How much does it cost?
$800.
Okay.
All right. So anyways...
How much is it worth to us?
To us?
Yeah.
$800.
Wrong. $480.
Huh?
$480.
What are you talking about?
No? I must have read that wrong. Oh, it's the quantity. I'm sorry.
The quantity is $480?
They're having a hard time selling these things.
Yeah.
Talking about the distributor, okay?
All right. So Joshua has a migraine.
Yeah.
So anything that comes out of his mouth should be...
Migraine and potential dyslexia.
And dyslexia? Oh, so what was it, 84? So... Anyway, we are going to be talking about the Quantum Pad. We have Magic Mentor, the book that I wrote. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. And we did have a show a couple weeks ago, but we ended up having to cancel that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's unfortunately here in Santa Paula, we were in the season of fire.
Yes.
And it's Santa Paula caught on quick.
Well, and I think we did the show, but then we realized that we did it, but we never recorded it.
About that one.
So,
hey, our whole family has a history of migraines. Talk to him about it. And if anything smells weird or off, that just throws the whole thing off. I'm not even kidding. Well, you know, when you smell something that's funny and you instantly get a migraine off of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. I don't know why.
So I am double dutying today because I have to man the board as well as do the show. Julie is out for some doctor's appointments, so she is not producing the show today. So I will be doing both just to show off my multi-talented abilities. Anyhow, so Magic Mentor is a book that I just recently wrote. Here's the hardcover version of it. And by the way, we are going to have to reprint.
Why?
Because somebody went to the index table of contents and they saw chapter 9, Steam 52, and he went to 52 and he went, well, where's that chapter? It's actually page 51. All of my chapter numbers were off.
Oh,
so
now, was that a you thing or is that a publisher thing?
Oh, well, it's a publisher thing.
Well, you know, they go and they screw up how they put your book together.
Well, seeing that we self-published, I think that's a.
You had the book printed by, what was it? Did you go through Amazon? The Amazon print publishing company?
Yeah. And what's interesting,
you have half to blame with the publishing because it's 50%.
Everything is one page off.
I'm going to blame Amazon.
How the heck did I manage that?
I'm gonna blame Amazon.
Yes, blame somebody.
They printed it wrong.
So the foundation, chapter 9, Beyond the Stage, page 10. And here it says page 11. Wow.
So you really took that principle of magic to heart.
Yes.
The one-off principle.
Yeah. Yeah. So the book was written in the one-off principle.
Every page is one-off.
Yeah. Thank you for justifying that. That's great.
That's
So,
funny. Oh god.
anyways, the Magic Mentor, a lot of people are, excuse me, a little confused by the title, but because they think it's about mentoring the next magician, and it's really not. It's about taking magic beyond the stage, meaning that the book is a how-to guide on to set up training programs or classes in magic that are focused around homeschool groups and
Please continue. What?
homeschool groups and after school programs. All I'm hearing is
You should. I mean, I guess you would be hearing that. What is our audience listening to? You think so?
yeah. So
Is
it's
that my best Chewbacca impression
is
right
that
there?
overpowering
Is that wait, hold on. Is that a really good Chewbacca impression? Is that what you're trying to say?
no.
Oh.
No. So the Magic Mentor is really about a book about taking magic to the after school and the homeschool groups and teaching magic in an educational way versus in a performance way.
Yeah. So you're not trying to rear the next generation of magicians. You're just trying to go and help students with another alternative way of learning and retaining information.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of
in a more fun. So to
fun
speak,
and
right?
engaging.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're essentially following the STEAM program, which some of you may be familiar with STEM. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So STEAM is really a more rounded education because it includes the arts.
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking that program, STEAM, and we are incorporating magic that can help illustrate various parts of that. So so in chapter 1, the foundation, it essentially sets up the book as far as beyond the stage, meaning that I've been teaching magic since I was in my 20s, and I do a lot of after school and homeschool groups. So taking the information that I learned and kind of giving an overview.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk a little bit about magic as a teaching tool, how there's an underlying educational foundation to the tricks that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we also go through the child's development. So at age 6, they should be capable of doing X, Y, and Z. At first grade or second grade, they should be capable of doing this. At third grade, they should be able to do this. And so we're looking at the child's development as far as things like ages 7 and 8, second and third grade, math, introduction to multiplication and division. So that's what they're being introduced to. They should be reading more complex sentences and stories. And with magic, you can introduce slightly more complex tricks that build on their overall developing skills.
So now with this book, are you giving them, let's just say, a curriculum, or are you kind of just breaking it down as to here's how to get started with it all?
This is literally A to Z.
So it's telling you, like, just follow this method,
right,
and then this is the best way to do it.
Right.
Now it's kind of teaching you how to market yourself to these types of things, right?
Correct. So it's getting you to understand the development of a child, where they should be at. We also have under the same section is the do's and don'ts. So these are things that you should do with a child. These are things that you absolutely do not do with a child.
Yeah.
And then in part 2, we go to mentoring as a business. So it's basically the business side of teaching. So the insurances that you're going to have to get, the background checks that you're going to have to get, what you can expect for pay, contract type information, and making sure you get approval and compliance with the associations that you're trying to work with.
Now, another thing with this too, this is who did you market this towards? I mean, write it for.
Good question. So essentially, it was written for a magician who wants to get into the educational side of magic.
Okay.
And so this is a program that this book is essentially set up to where it will help take you from A to Z and, teaching you about the industry and how to get into it, how to break into it, what are you going to need, the business side of it, and then selecting the curriculum. And so it was really written towards somebody who wants to create a business, so to speak. Maybe not a full-time business, but they want to add this to their performance business or anything else that they might be doing.
So you wrote it for the magician.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, is it something that has to be just for the magician, or could you, for example, because you're talking about this is for teaching and whatnot,
right?
Could if I were a teacher in a school, could I take this book and kind of work it in?
Yeah.
I mean, you're obviously you're not doing the whole business aspect of it because you're already a teacher teaching in the school,
right?
But, some of the teaching elements of it.
You basically be going to part 3,
yeah,
and doing the program, and then part 4, which is the STEAM, and then part 5 gives you activities, and part 6 gives you craft projects. So you'd be picking
the first part.
Yeah, you'd be skipping part 1 and part 2.
That's geared towards you or magician.
So theoretically, if a teacher wanted to do this because, it sounds interesting, I'd like to introduce the magic into my teaching program, they could take this book and it would give them some ideas and suggestions and things of that nature.
I mean, it sounds like it can branch out further than just you don't have to be just a magician to kind of wrap your head around. You don't have
to be a full-time magician.
Yeah. So you don't have to be that in order to wrap your head around it all. It's something like you're talking about homeschool. Obviously you kind of want you'd want to be able to get all of my magician clients to break into something like that. But if it's not available, I know there's a bunch of people who go and do homeschool and they have groups and such.
Right.
It's a bunch of families that just kind of band together and make these groups for that specifically.
Correct.
And then they could, one of the families could go and say, "Hey, I'm going to get this book and we'll start implementing it into this homeschool group," right?
Yes.
And it could still work.
Yes. Yep.
And maybe they go and they say, "Let's make this a business. So we're going to take our group and go capitalize on all these other groups."
Could be. So one of the other things that we talk about,
something down for everybody. World domination already broken down right there.
There you go.
Here at Magic Talk.
So the other thing in part 2 is the marketing and selling your program. So how do you how do you explain the benefits of magic in an educational type program? And what strategies should you use for promotion?
Well, it's magic, duh.
I know.
Has anybody seen magic? It kind of sells itself,
doesn't it? And obviously, one thing that a lot of people don't think about is just in the fine motor skill development with magic is an educational thing of itself, because that's an important part of a child's development, is to enhance their fine motor skills. So and then part 3, we talk about the program. So choosing the right tricks and developing a lesson plan, so that when you go there, you're not just flying off by the seat of your pants. You know exactly what today's session is going to be. how to write up a lesson plan so that you can provide it to the parents so that they know what is going on with the child.
So you're actually making a curriculum there.
Yes.
And it's-
Yeah. So what kind of tricks should you be looking at,
Yeah.
and then going through the planning of how to set it up. And then in part 4, we go through STEAM. So it talk about the science in magic, the mathematics in magic, bridging STEAM disciplines to magic. And then, going through math magic as far as, what kind of tricks can you use in that kind of atmosphere. So we give you a number of examples of mathematical tricks that would be good in that kind of a group. We also cover in part 5 activities, so games you can play. So it's not just about going there and just teaching them a trick.
Yeah.
There's warm-up games, there's warm-down games, there's games that help you break the ice. There's games to help you understand and learn people's names, or maybe learn something more about the kids that you're working with. And so we give you a suggestion of a variety of games. And then in part 6, we have craft projects where we talk about, instead of just buying a trick and bringing it in for the class and saying, here, everybody gets one of these, you actually help them do crafts like a magic wand craft, or a cups and balls craft, or a paddle magic craft. So there's things that you can do craft wise that are also in the artsy area of STEAM, because they're using their creativity and their imagination. And
some kids get that, some kids don't. I gotta be honest. We've done stuff like that in some of the not homeschool, but the schooling
after school programs.
The after school programs here in Santa Paula, and there are some kids who get that a lot better than others.
Yeah.
Right. There's some kids who really get the fine motor skills, and then there's some kids who are really creative and like to be really artistic, and then sometimes they don't intermix.
No, it's kind of a left brain, right brain type scenario.
It kind of comes out when you're talking to some of these people.
So I would like to read the foreword, which
Okay.
was done by Doug Coleman. But before we do that, let's go ahead and you have a deck of cards.
I do.
believe.
I've got 2 actually.
2 decks of cards.
Yeah. They're in the same family.
Okay. So let's go ahead and take that away.
They have a sickness. They have an addiction. They collect bicycle playing cards, which is bad for them, but great for us because we have almost 500 decks of playing cards to choose from. They'll go crazy in here. They'll spend every last penny they... This is their story. This is Playing Cards Anonymous here on Magic Talk.
Okay.
Make
So
a video for that too.
we need to make a video for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like a little in between
Yeah.
video. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So you can set them up on the. I'm just going to leave that deck right there. But if you want to set them up on the other part of the Faraday pad,
Let me try.
and
This one.
I'm going to switch the camera over to.
This is
This
not
view.
Faraday, by the way. This is
It's not a Faraday. It's a Quantum. Sorry, my bad.
So we actually have right here. This is called the Nyx deck. This is Nyx Velvet. And this is called the, let me get that off. Yeah. This is called the Nyx Project. Can you, louder? Okay, so it's the Nyx Velvet and the Nyx Project. Nyx Project is the black one. Nyx Velvet is the red one right here. Now the red one.
You can't set the black one up on top.
I probably could. Let's see like this.
There you go.
See now this one. They're 2 very different decks. This one is a deck that looks like a standard bicycle deck of cards. Has obviously the different variation in the the design itself, but they have the different. They've got the different faces that are standard to a bike deck. Actually, nice thing about this one, every single court card has a what would you call it? It has something to it. Has a hidden reveal of some sort, or any things that you can do inside it, where it's a number reveal or a word reveal or another card reveal. And this one right here, the project one, this one has words. This one has words. So you've got the learn, motivate, teach. Speaking of magic, but these ones, you could see the cards in the top corner. I don't know if you guys can see that right there.
Yep.
You got the cards in the top corner, but it does not have the faces like the other one does.
Because they're all words.
Because they're all words. Yeah. So they have tricks specific to this one, the black one right here, the project, and also tricks specific to the red one.
So the black one is got words. It's got the corner pip for the value of the card.
Yeah.
And then it also has the number on it, which is actually the position of the card.
Yes, actually, that's more important to go over. Is these cards are they're like the DMCs.
These.
Yes, or both of them.
Both. Okay.
They're kind of like the Phil Smith or the DMCs, where you're able to read a bunch of information on the back of the card about what's on the face. The red ones, I believe, or I think, have more information than the black ones. The black ones, like you said, you can see what words on the face. You can see what card is on the upper corner, and then you can also see what position it's supposed to have.
Okay, and my assumption is that you actually described this to me, and you said that the difference between these and the DMCs or the Phil's Creative is that these are reading in between the lines, whereas the other ones you read on the lines.
Yeah, basically, the image or the card itself, it's a similar idea where it's a plain sight marking, or a half plain sight, half hidden one. Except this one, your lines aren't spelling anything out. You've got this one, you've got to kind of read it a different way, where you're almost in between the lines. But this one, you're getting more information. The red one, you get the card itself, and then you also get what position it's in, and then you also get let me see, what was that? The card, the position, and the card that's above it in stack. Actually, the red ones are in mnemonica stack.
Okay.
This one is in just a new deck order. So the position that you get off of this one is kind of really doesn't. Just I don't know
1,
the
2, 3,
reason.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why
you
you
do
that.
Yeah.
Unless he's got some other type of reasoning for it, that one doesn't quite make sense. But this one makes a ton of sense, because it's exactly like a Phil Smith deck, where you have it in the mnemonica.
Right. So how much are the red decks?
The red decks, these are $30.
All right. And the black ones?
The black ones are $45.
Wow.
Now, they have a lot of really good information as far as ideas and stuff you can do with it, especially with the red one, and how they have the different reveals on the court cards and such.
Mhm.
So it's not just like, okay, here's a deck and here's markings on the back of the cards. Like, you can do a lot with this. It's almost like having a gaff deck,
okay,
along with a regular deck type of deal.
Cool. So obviously expensive cards.
Yeah.
You have to be you have to really get into it. And the thing is with a lot of magicians, when you go through the cards, you really tend to destroy them after a while of use, because they get so used. So
Case in point.
these are essentially things that you might want to save for an actual performance.
I
Maybe you have a
probably would.
practice deck, and then you keep one nice pristine deck for performance.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously not the kind of deck you're going to go out and buy a brick of and just burn through them every single show.
Unless you're loaded.
And you're probably not going to have a signed card or any of that kind of stuff.
I really wouldn't. No.
Yeah.
Now, these ones, the nice thing about these, as far as that is concerned, at least that's what you were talking about, the use, they feel like an expert brand playing card deck. So the stock itself is a little thicker. It's not clunky like a knock deck, or was it a knock V3 deck? Or like a true cardistry deck, but it is more robust.
Okay.
Because you can even see it where, I don't know if that can be seen very well, but it's thicker than what you would expect off of a crush stock.
Okay.
Like a regular bike, you know how it's got a thinner profile. This one's got a pretty dense profile.
Cool.
So it should last you a lot longer.
So 30 for the red, 45 for the black.
Yeah.
And I think we only have a few more in stock because a lot of them have already been bought.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. 1 red and 2 black left.
That's it. Okay.
Yep.
So we'll have to get more. All right. So I'm going to just take a minute to read the foreword on this book. Again, it was by Doug Coleman. For those of you who don't know Doug Coleman, look him up on IMDb and you will learn everything there is to know about him.
Nice words, I hope.
Yeah. Now he's been he's a stuntman. He's been in the industry for a long time. He's done well over 200 movies, most of them mainstream. And he's also a magician. So he was known as the stunt guy who would always be doing magic on set. And so he was kind enough to write the foreword for me. And here we go. I am truly honored to be asked to write the foreword for this remarkable book, which offers a clear and definitive approach to using magic as an educational tool in after-school programs and homeschool groups. As I reflect on my journey, I am reminded of how the world of magic played a pivotal role in shaping my professional path as a stuntman, stunt coordinator, and director in the film industry. The lessons learned through the art of magic have not only inspired my creativity, but have also been instrumental in navigating the thrilling and unpredictable nature of my career. This book, written by James Lantine, an accomplished magician, educator, and advocate for integrating magic into educational settings, draws from his extensive career dedicated to teaching magic to youth. Now James is sharing this invaluable knowledge with magicians who wish to introduce magic as a powerful educational tool in after-school programs, classrooms, and homeschool groups. Through teaching magic, we can build confidence in young minds, enhance their fine motor skills, and improve cognitive abilities. The skills fostered in this practice of magic extend far beyond the stage. They cultivate creativity and problem-solving abilities, enriching the lives of children in profound ways. One of the key aspects that resonate with me in James's work is the emphasis on encouraging children to create their own magic rather than simply imitating others. This aspiration serves to inspire young people and people of all ages to become their own artistic entities, crafting unique performances that reflect their individual creative expressions. Incorporating DIY magic projects to educational curriculums creates a dynamic learning environment where children can engage their imaginations, take ownership of their craft, and develop vital skills that will serve them well throughout their lives. This book serves as an essential tool for magicians who are passionate about using their craft to educate, as well as for educators and parents alike. James Lantine expertly illustrates how the magic of creativity can foster confidence, improve communication skills, strengthen soft skills, and support core subjects like math, language, and science. I invite you to explore these pages with an open heart and mind. You will discover how the lessons shared within inspire confidence, self-expression, and lifelong learning in children. The transformative power of magic awaits, and I hope this book ignites the same passion in you that it has for me. A reminder of the incredible events and opportunities that can arise through the enchantment of creativity. Magic is not just an art form. It's a pathway to discovering the magic within us. Enjoy the journey, Doug Coleman. So I thought that really kind of illustrated what this book was all about. And I really appreciated his kind words. And yeah, don't anyone fact check any of this stuff. Like I wouldn't fact check the, let's see, an accomplished magician. I know, I'm always beat myself up over that. But
If you go to New
good to be
Hampshire-
recognized.
If you go to New Hampshire, you're very accomplished.
Yes,
I think your name is still up there, actually.
it probably is. So,
So we just need to go back home, is what all of that is saying.
oh, okay.
See, we have spent too long over here. We need to go back home.
Okay. Well, if gases raise up another 65 cents in tax next year, there may be no other choice.
Then to go home.
So let's go ahead and let me get my programming hat back on, and let's talk about this new effect.
Is it good? Should I buy it? Does it suck? Did I get ripped off? Is it more of a craft project than a magic trick? These questions and more answered now on the Magic Item of the Week here on Magic Talk.
Okay, so we're going to talk
Is it
about
good?
it. Yes, it's good.
Should they buy it?
Yes, I would say they should buy it.
Does it suck?
No, it doesn't suck.
Are they going to get ripped off?
No, they're not going to get ripped off.
The hesitation on that last question has got me questioning a little bit.
All right, well, let me talk a little bit about the Faraday pad.
Not Faraday, quantum.
Quantum. Oh my gosh,
Faraday
I'm
is a
stuck on the
different type of pad.
Yes, also made by TCC, which
Yes.
is also a good pad.
Yes, it is.
So I'm not going to go into a lot of details in this review, primarily because
Not
this
for
is
this
open
one.
to the public.
Yeah.
But if you do watch, if you want to go into Respecting the Craft, which is a private group, you can go on Facebook. It's called Respecting the Craft. And in there, if you have been accepted into the group, it means that you have validated yourself as a magician and that you have never revealed tricks publicly for self-promotion and things of that nature. With that group, we will be a little bit more detailed
Mhm.
in what we do with Faraday pad.
Pad.
Maybe I should do a review on the Faraday pad. So this is basically a switch pad or change pad or kind of a, it's, I guess it's a switch.
It is.
Um,
I will say this: it is similar to the ideas of the Dream Table.
Yes. Yeah.
The,
So
the inner workings of it all are far different, but it is similar.
yes.
The idea is the same.
Correct. So this can actually transform into two other things. So you start with one main thing, it can transform into something, and you can transform into another thing. So
Or completely vanish altogether.
yes,
Or however you want to go and do it.
right. Now, it is with the pattern on the pad and everything like that. The visibility of it is pretty good.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, the visibility of the gimmick or
Of the gimmick, or yeah, as far as hiding the gimmick.
Okay, yeah. So taking, I was going to say actually, this one, I know we had problems with the other one, but this one actually, I believe the pad itself, they almost made it as one.
Yes.
The you don't have. It's not like they took crushed velvet from one, and then with the gimmick they used another type of crushed velvet because so it'll blend together a lot.
Right.
easier.
And if they placed it the wrong way, one side's
Yeah.
dull, one side's shiny. So with this crushed velvet, they did a really good job.
Mhm.
I mean, as you can see from the camera, it's pretty invisible.
Yeah, I think so. If you're really studying it, maybe there's something that looks a little weird, but you have to be
Right.
you have to know and you have to be studying it.
I will say you cannot be on top of this table
No,
with just the table.
no.
If it was just the table and you were looking, you would definitely be able to see the gimmick.
Can
Um,
you switch the view?
Oh, yes.
It's to the because about let me try to adjust myself about right here for viewing perspective.
Yes.
That's actually a really good angle
Okay.
right here. I can there's no discrepancy that I can see right here.
Okay.
So about this distance, really.
Which is not bad.
No, not at all.
No.
This is practically on top of it, but I know my distance vision is really poor, but it's even still I can.
Right.
There's not much to see.
So I will tell you, obviously, I mean, if you look at the thickness of the table,
Yeah.
there is a sizable thickness to it.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is your Dove panel,
Yeah, the dove tray.
the Dove tray. You got a couple of those, and the shape of it is very reminiscent of that.
Yes. So essentially, the things that you can switch: one, weight is a factor.
Okay.
It has to be 10 ounces or less. Thickness is a factor,
Yeah.
meaning that you can't just change one card. There needs to be a little bit of thickness to it.
Yeah.
And
the mechanism is
it's also height wise, there's an
Yes.
issue. So you know, a deck of cards, some coins, things that, you know, are relatively flat, like maybe a folded bill or a folded card, those things would all work really well.
I think comfortably you can get away with something that's what 3 inches or maybe 2.5.
Maybe twice as much of the thickness of a deck of playing cards.
So if
maybe
it was something like this, even less.
that, yeah,
Or like that.
yeah, yeah, maybe about right there, I guess, would be.
So
It's hard to see, but
I mean, in a close-up,
you're obviously going to know what you can do and can't do.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious once you get it because it's not like, oh, maybe I should test it.
Right.
It kind of spells it out for you. And I do know that for a close-up situation and what I've seen with it, there's really nothing bigger than that you're going to be working with.
No, in a close-up.
If
you watch the demo video, you'll see them like exchange coins or exchange, I think, a playing card or a deck of cards.
Yeah. Or make something vanish. You have a billiard ball of some sort, and you've got. I think they even did one where it's like a ring.
Right. Yeah, that vanishes on the table.
So smaller objects and whatnot, and I mean, again, for a close-up environment, that's really all you're going to need to do. You're not trying to make an elephant disappear.
Right. Things you should be aware of. There is definitely a noise factor.
Yeah.
And you're going to really need to use music. You can't even just do, you know, I'm going to talk really loud while this thing is, you got to have a consistent sound that's going on through it.
So
and it's going to have to be, the level's going to have to be up there. It's not, you can't just have a soft, quiet background music where you can talk over. There's going to need to be some music that really overpowers the noise.
So if you were to think about it in the sense of a Shin Lim silent act,
yes,
something like that, where you're really, the music is a part of the performance itself.
Right. I don't see this, and you know, somebody might be able to figure out a way to do it, but I do not see this as, you know, you can use this pad throughout your show, but when you actually go to use the pad, I don't see it as a talking act.
Yeah,
I see it as you doing something silent and then using the pad.
Yeah, there is that noise factor that it talks a lot.
Yeah,
but it's very smooth. I've noticed that, and it's the mechanism behind it. It's very quick too. It's not.
Yeah,
it doesn't take a long time for things to engage. But
now, go ahead.
It does talk. and it's I think we in testing it, I ran into one problem with it. That's what you were talking about with cards and
Yeah.
stuff. I ran into one problem with it where it was loose cards, and it jammed it.
Yeah, you can't use loose.
No, because it's
So-
gotta have some like the box. It's gotta be together.
Yeah. So this pad sells for $800. Now I'm going to compare this to the Dreamtable Pro. If you haven't seen that, go online, look at Dreamtable Pro. Dreamtable Pro actually shows you it in motion, and the construction on this table is really good.
This one or the
This one, the Quantum Pad.
Okay.
I think we had criticized the construction on the Dreamtable Pro in our review because it was made with just standard plywood. It was kind of cheaply made wood for $1,200. We didn't feel that it was necessarily the right value. At this price, at $800, I think you are getting what you're paying for.
Yeah, this actually
It's constructed really nice, and the internal mechanics seem to be pretty well constructed.
Yeah,
They're solid.
At least.
Yeah, so I think you're going to be okay with this. We learned that there was a lot of problems with the Dreamtable Pro. We do not hear the same kind of noise with this one.
Now, with said mechanics and whatnot, is this something that you can, or that you feel like you can operate solo, or is it better to have?
So it does actually come with a toe.
Oh,
So
you have
you have both options. So it's totally in your control, and you can either do it from the hand or from the foot. So you have the option.
and there's no need to have a stooge or an
No.
accomplice. Oh,
No.
very cool.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing, especially you're talking about it being able to switch twice or three times.
Right.
Like that's hard to keep track of.
Right.
So if you can do that with just those different things and make it invisible too with a toe, or
Right.
and I'm sold.
Anyways, so
I don't
Quantum
like to
Pad.
talk anyway.
Quantum Pad retails for $800. I believe there are 84 left. We have 3 of them. I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
We have 3 of them. So hopefully, TCC, we've warned you in the past that it's kind of hit or miss with TCC products as to whether or not they QC'd it properly. There's been a lot of returns that have happened with TCC products. This one, I don't think is going to be an issue. I think they really took the time to construct it well. It sounds like they were all hand done.
It
So-
looked like they were all hand done. Even the inner workings.
Yes.
It looks like it was pretty not machine fabricated.
Right. So, with this, we're going to give it, a thumb up. I don't know if we necessarily go 2 thumbs up. It's still, kind of,
If it didn't talk, I'd give it
It's-
2 thumbs.
yeah, it's kind of like one of these.
Yeah.
Primarily because of the price point, and it's not going to be for every magician because you have to have the right performance setting to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And but I do
Magic
think if you
parlor.
can afford the $800, I think it's worth the investment.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I kind of feel like this is less of a close-up tool and more of a parlor tool.
Could be.
You know what I mean? Because obviously with close-up, I could imagine people when they're doing close-up, they're like right here. And it is a little bit of a danger zone with this one in particular.
Yeah.
If you're like that close up. But I mean, in a parlor setting, you can still be kind of close in a parlor setting. But I mean, with what it's supposed to be, I can't imagine that you're operating it in the middle of a close-up performance. It doesn't seem like it's conducive for that. But in a parlor style performance, I feel like that could really do you some good.
Problem is, if you do this in a close-up performance, you're going to have to do your close-up show on the pad.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
There's portions of the pad that you cannot go and work with.
right. So it obviously will have some of its, challenges, but I think there's going to be some good things that will come out of it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
We've got some things that we're working on at the shop, but actually we do have a new layout to the shop.
Yeah, we do, and we'll put some pictures up online for people to see.
And there's going to be some more things that are going to open the shop up to the community so that it can grow for the professional, the amateur, and whatnot. We're trying to go and make it almost kind of castle-esque, except you don't have to go and be a member to come here.
Yeah, it's going to be, we really want the shop to become a destination place because we've had a lot of people who have come into the store that say this is one of the best shops they've ever been into. We have a lot of room compared to a typical magic shop. And the way that we organize it and the way that we help with your shopping experience where it's more, it's a lot easier to browse and to kind of look than in a typical shop. And so we're really trying to get the word out that, this shop and this theater is something worth coming to visit. So if you're in LA, if you're in Santa Barbara, if you're anywhere in Southern California within a few hours, a couple hour drive, it is worth making that drive.
Heck, if you're anywhere else in the United States, we have people from outside the country that come here specifically to come to our shop.
Just come to our shop?
Oh yeah, we have 2 customers
really
that I know of that are not here, and they come here whenever they're here.
Yeah, so they're not coming into the States just to go to our magic shop. They're coming to the States because they have a conference.
We are a destination for them.
All right.
I'm going to take it however it comes in.
You can take it.
But yeah, we want to make it more of a hangout style thing where you can come in and, you can learn, experience, and even like we were just talking about with your book, you can even teach.
Yeah, and we do have, we have a production studio and everything else. So this business is really well equipped because it's not just White Rabbit Magic, it's also the House of Magic Foundation for the Arts, and so there's a lot of things that can be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So we really encourage you, if you're in the area. Santa Paula is about 10 minutes from Ventura. It's about 10 minutes from Fillmore. It's about 35 minutes from Santa Clarita, maybe an hour from LA. So it's definitely worth coming out and making the trip. And
the drive up from LA is far nicer than the drive back.
Yes. And if you
I'm gonna lay that claim out right now.
And if you're coming after hours when the store is typically not open, just let us know in advance and we'll be here for you. So with that, thanks to you all for listening. This is Magic Talk. And remember, at White Rabbit Magic,
we believe in magic.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.